Welcome to Demolition Success Secrets, the podcast that's changing the game for demolition businesses everywhere. Ever wondered how a wrecking ball wielding industry can leverage digital marketing to dominate their market? Well, we've got the blueprints, strategies, expert guests, and more to show you how. Stay tuned, because we're about to blast through the barriers of your business.
All right, Demo Gang. Good morning. We have Joseph on the line, the Demo Don himself. Joseph, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just got back from one of my jobs.
Nice. Okay. What's the job? Job of the day.
The job of the day, we're doing a 38-acre facility up in Baltimore. It's a crushing facility. So it's a lot of steel.
Yeah. So a lot of good scrap, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Nice.
Probably about
Okay.
1,200 tons.
Wow. Okay. Now, I'm
1,800
curious,
tons.
how much is scrap important to your business versus you think other people's businesses in the demo space?
It fills in the gaps.
Yeah. When projects are tight.
When people don't pay on time, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Would you say, like, obviously we don't need to share revenue, but what percentage perhaps would you say that makes up for, your revenue or a general demo company's revenue?
I mean, for me, probably around 40% of my
Okay.
revenue. Because
Okay.
that's how we differentiate ourselves from everybody else. We factor in our scrap to our jobs.
Okay. Got it. I heard once someone had paid, it was a General Motors plant in Atlanta. People are paying for the job just on the basis of scrap. Have you guys ever done that or considered doing that for a big job with a lot of scrap?
We don't do that. I don't pay for work.
Okay.
But we sell off a lot of assets for the companies to get them out of a tight situation because they're closing down the plant. So to increase their revenue, we'd sell off some of their assets with my connections.
Okay. Very cool. Awesome. All right. Well, how'd you get in the business?
Me? I have been in construction for the past 20 years. I started off in concrete, did that for a good 15 years probably out of my construction journey. And the last 5 has been demolition.
Wow. Okay. And you like it?
Yeah.
It's better, more exciting than maybe the past journeys you've been on?
Better?
Some days.
Yeah, it's more exciting. It's definitely more exciting. You definitely get to see a lot more stuff than just pouring concrete all day. It's different every day.
Okay.
That's the best. That's the best part about it. Every job is different.
Yeah, absolutely. Every customer is different. And you mentioned this is something we're desperately trying to figure out in the business because it comes up all the time, the financing. What is your secret for trying to get the best situation for collecting payment, dealing with deposits? Maybe could you give us some insights there, how you underwrite a potential customer, that kind of thing?
Yes, we do 90% military work.
Okay.
We're gearing towards industrial now. And when you work with the military, it's all about contracts and the way you write your contract and your payment. So when we start off our jobs, we have our payment abstract. Basically, it's our timesheet of when we get paid on deadlines that we hit. And if they don't pay it, then we don't go back to work. So we work off a percentage of job completion.
Okay. Very interesting. All right. So what made you guys decide to do those jobs versus more private work or maybe general public work? You're just very specialized.
The government is specialized. Not everybody can do it. You need a high EMR rating, which is what we have. We have a very good EMR rating. So an EMR rating is a safety rating, and we keep all our safety dialogues. We have a safety guy on every job. So that's how we keep our safety up to par for the military work. And then you have to be good with submittals. And we have a whole team to do our submittals on our military work. And we also do asbestos. And there's a lot of asbestos work on military jobs. Okay.
And you're doing the abatement itself, not really the testing. I assume someone else is doing the
testing. Yeah, we do the
abatement
itself. We just do the abatement.
Okay.
But that's, a lot of demo companies don't do that. And we also have our own roll-off. So pretty much one-stop shop.
How important is that for your financials and for your competitive nature? A lot of our guests, frankly, they don't have everything under one roof. That's got to separate you guys a lot.
Yeah. So the job in Baltimore we just did, we had all our trucks tied up, and we had a couple of trucks go down here in Virginia. So we had to actually outsource our roll off up there, and it cost me $30,000 for 9 cans versus maybe $6,000 if I did it myself.
Whoa, geez. Okay, huge
So,
difference.
huge difference.
Wow. Okay, got it. Well, that's cool. It's nice to have the one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's any difficulties operationally of being the one-stop shop? Like sometimes being able to outsource can make logistics easier. Of course, you're not going to make as much money, but is it challenging to be able to juggle everything as the
Yeah,
one-stop shop?
you have to keep everything up to par. You have to keep your drivers on all their P's and Q's. You have to keep them with all their medical tests, because every time you have a driver for a CDL, you need to get a medical updated every year. So keep everybody up to date. You have to keep all your trucks up to date because they just pull you over for no reason, just to do spot random checks. So it's a lot. It looks easy on the outside, but it's a lot of work to keep it going.
Right. Yeah, I believe it.
We have a department just for our trucking. So,
Jeez. Okay. Well, you got to maintain them, and you guys got to. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of different things. Is that something? Do you guys do maintenance of equipment and stuff in the company?
We have our own mechanic. We have a fleet of 30 trucks right now, and our mechanic maintains the big trucks, and all the employees' trucks are sent out to the dealership where we buy the trucks, because we also buy warranty bumper to bumper with them. So it's pretty much how we keep it up to par, if you want to say.
That's awesome. So government work, are there any crazy jobs that come to mind? I talked to someone the other day about nuclear power plants, and I was like, dude, that's a big job. Like that's a multifaceted job right there.
We do a lot of runway work. So we just took out, I think it was 5 runways. There were the hangars. So when you're working on a runway, you have to really control your dust and your material. So if anything gets on that runway, you're fined. Imagine that. And then the last day of the job, we were pulling down the last building, and they pulled up all these raptors. You know what a raptor is? It's the raptor.
The monsters.
There was probably like $15 million of planes right next to where I'm pulling down a building, and we had to control the dust and all the fog going onto the runway.
Wow. So I assume maybe I'm misinterpreting it. Maybe I'm getting it right. Are some of the runways active while you're tearing down other runways? Is that right?
Yeah, they're active.
Interesting. And then are you effectively tearing all runways down and then they're rebuilding?
No, we're not doing the runway. We're just doing the hangars.
The hangars themselves. Okay, got it. Interesting.
We actually did do a job on the runway to replace certain sections that we had to cut out. So that was an interesting job as well.
Okay.
What other jobs I do? I did hyperbaric chambers inside of the hospital.
Cool.
So we had to take them out without disrupting the rest of the building.
Whoa.
So we went in there with our torches and cut them down into 4-foot sections, lowered them down on chain falls, and forklift them out of the building.
That's crazy. Yeah, those hyperbarics are monsters.
Yeah, they were huge. I have pictures.
And what was the issue? They were like out of date, or
they were expanding the hospital for some other section of the hospital, and they just needed this, and they never used it. They installed them and didn't use them once.
Wow. Oh man. Yeah. That's crazy. And they couldn't recycle them because you guys had to torch them just to get them out.
Yeah.
Brutal.
We recycled the metal, that's all. I tried to get them out another way, but they wouldn't let me take the roof off the building. They wouldn't let me do anything. A lot of parameters, so we have to work in their government parameters. So that was the thing when you're working, you have to work in the parameters.
Interesting.
What else? We did bunkers, lots of bunkers. We're doing more bunkers.
Okay.
But yeah.
So rich people don't want to buy out the bunkers so they could escape the plague or the aliens that are going to come or something.
Would sell them that. But
that's so funny. Are those bunkers pretty interesting? I don't think I've ever been in one. Are they pretty tight kind of chambers, or are they, sizable?
They're big.
Okay.
Yeah, truck inside them.
Wow.
They're pretty big. They're very heavily enforced.
That's crazy. Okay.
And enforced they are, but they're enforced.
Yeah, right. We can't go into the specifics. When you I guess remove those, is that an implosion? Like, what is the actual mechanism to break those down?
No, just we use our 330, John Deere 330.
Okay.
Cat 330 with a
Okay.
pump and a hammer. So basically,
Okay.
we hammer it all, and then we just pick it all apart. Or we have
Okay.
processors as well, which
Interesting.
it's like a claw that crumbles the concrete. So you just bite into it.
Interesting. How deep are bunkers usually?
No, so they're not deep. They're built above
Okay.
ground, and then
Okay.
they put dirt on top of them.
Mm.
So
Okay.
they're built. So we peel back the
Interesting.
dirt. We peel back probably good. It was like 4 to 6 feet of dirt on the sides and the top, and then you have to remove the bunker.
Okay.
So that was fun. And then we do a lot of commercial. We do commercial work as well. So bank jobs. The vaults are always
Okay.
fun when we do bank jobs.
Wild.
Yep. Right now we have a gym that's turning into a church, and they want us to remove the pool. So we're removing the pool, and they want us to remove the whole floor above the pool. So that's going to be fun to do.
Crazy. Okay, so that's the 10% roughly of the business.
Yeah, the commercial.
It kind of keeps the money flowing? Because I guess I'm a little bit surprised. So many of our clients, so many of our guests come on, they do a lot of commercial work, they do private work, that kind of thing. Some of them do government and military, but usually with government, I'm not so used to hearing payment terms are difficult. Sometimes I'll hear the net terms, like 60 days, 90 days is bad. So even with the government stuff, it's kind of tricky to get paid.
90 days out, that's what we're on. We're 90-day scheduled. But
Right.
we went in on a lot of jobs under GCs. When you go in under GCs, they tend to hold your money a little bit longer. So that 90 days is like 120 days.
Oh, okay.
And in between that, that's
Interesting.
where you have to clean it up. But
okay. Got it. And are you doing any jobs or some jobs directly through the government, or usually a GC is the middleman?
we always have a GC in the middleman.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Got it. That makes sense. All right. So then your commercial stuff, you guys do it selectively, word of mouth, I assume, is how those come to life?
Commercial work is word of mouth, pretty much. We have a estimating department that hunts for work sometimes, but right now we have so much work, we don't need to look for work. People call us.
Right. You need more people, right?
Yeah, trucking, that's another issue you have with trucking. You have to get qualified people. And when you work on military bases, everybody needs 100% bulletproof background.
Right.
Not everybody can get on the military base. So that's another hurdle you have to go when you're working with military work.
Okay. So I assume you guys have pretty rock star people in the company. You got to pay them nicely, obviously take care of them.
Yep.
How is it trying to get new people?
A lot of interviewing, a lot of trial and error.
That's funny.
So
You're saying
we'll interview, and then we start them out on a commercial job just to see how they're doing. Give them a 90-day grace period. If they don't make the cut, they don't make the cut.
Okay.
That's how we weed out the weak, I guess.
You were saying the government jobs, maybe for the team.
What was I saying? I lost track.
Yeah, my fault. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but sometimes we're so into it. All right, well, maybe it will come back up. Yeah. Any wild employee stories that you could share? Things for people to look out for. Obviously, you do a lot of interviewing. People hiding stuff in their background, or saying one thing and it turned out to be another.
Yeah, it happens. A lot of people. That's why we started submitting people to bases before giving them the full book to be hired with us. So we have our process and procedures, and you won't get that until you pass your background. We submit them to government backgrounds.
Okay. How big of a thing is insurance for your business? We just had an insurance expert on the podcast, and my God, the workers' comp, I could just that alone. He was like, yeah, forget about liability. That's a whole nother beast. Yeah. Just the workers' comp, the premium every year was insane for you guys. You're not just doing one thing. You have all these different hats throughout the businesses.
Yeah, I think we're $40,000 a month. It's 40 to 60.
Wow. That's the nut. Is that insurance at large or just the comp?
That's insurance is large. I think it's like 80,000 all together at large, just insurance.
Every month. Jeez, that's insane. Amongst everything else you guys have, equipment and
we own a lot of our equipment. That's a good thing, but we're always buying more because you always got to keep up to date with everybody. So. Every time
Okay.
somebody comes out, we're getting.
Okay. Interesting. And let
We
me
gotta
ask
give our
this.
customers the best equipment out there every time we go to a job. So, and if you look
Right.
at our fleet, we keep everything up to date. Everything's shiny, brand new. You wouldn't even know we're a demo company.
Okay. Now, is there a life cycle that your normal stuff is 2, 3 years and then you're swapping it out? Is there some sort of schedule you guys have?
Typically between 5 and 6,500 hours, 5,000, 6,500 hours.
Okay.
We start to look for new machines.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay.
What's the most you
Any
can
jobs
usually
that,
get out of a full-size excavator? 5,000 hours.
okay. And you guys are well maintaining them and everything like that. So any jobs that come to mind of, I don't want to say home runs or slam dunks, but that you guys were like, that was a nice paying job. We don't need to know about the profits or anything, but any types of jobs where you were just like, man, if every job was like that, we would be more loaded than we already are, or
Sometimes
we'd
it's
be
the
on a yacht,
smaller
perhaps.
jobs. Sometimes it's the
Yeah.
smaller jobs because you're in. I mean, I go into a job that would take a normal company 2 weeks, and I get it done in 3 days. So sometimes it's the
Mm,
smaller jobs, like the small
interesting.
interior commercial demolitions. Like I'll eat those up. I'll eat 3 a week at $40,000 each, and that
Wow.
profit like $30,000 on them. So
Wow. What do
sometimes
those look like? Are those I guess bank, those aren't the bank jobs. I mean, it's not home
no, those aren't
teardowns.
the
Like
big
what are
jobs.
those?
Interior demo. So those would be like like strip malls, pretty much, when they have those little units that they're turning into something else, and they just need you to go in and take it back to shell. And you
Hmm.
go in there and just take down every single wall, take out all the floors, take out all the electrical, all the HVAC, everything, in and out in
Okay.
3 days. You can't have a better job than that.
Man, that's amazing. What is a crew normally like on that? Like what size a crew? How many guys are going in?
I take 6 guys.
Okay.
6 guys.
Interesting.
You have 3. They alternate, so you'd have 3 working, doing the work. You'd have 1 lookout outside for traffic control, and you have 2, 6, yeah, 2 carting out the material, the garbage. And then once everything's pretty much demoed, you'd go back in and you take up the floors.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. On most jobs, are you guys doing any bids or anything? I know obviously commercial is different than the government work, but is it competitive at all? Or you would say most of the stuff is just handed on a silver platter?
No,
You guys are really more choosy? No, it's not. Okay.
it's all competitive. I have to do a lot
Okay.
of yeah, I bid all my jobs like everybody else, and then we go into negotiations. Then I tell them how I can get them money on the long run doing the
Mm,
job with us, and by selling off assets and stuff, and they usually work with us that way. And then
yeah. And I could see
if you
the value of
I mean,
one stop.
if you hand somebody a plan on how you're going to do your job from start to finish, and nobody else does, you're going to get the
Right.
job.
Right. Okay. On an average job, how many people are you guys normally competing with?
6 to 10.
6 to 10. Out of those 6 to 10, are most anywhere near your caliber? Or are you guys, I know you're diversifying yourself and making yourself shine compared to them, but are
Probably
there some
three,
three?
three
Interesting.
competitors.
Interesting. Okay. That's crazy. Interesting. And what's a normal sales cycle for something to go from an estimate to a job done? I know it varies, but
Months.
months.
I'll submit a bid, and then like 4 months later, they'll come back and say, "We want to get the job done now." And then we have to.
Wow.
And then I'm like, I need at least 3 weeks to mobilize.
Mm,
It's who can get there first and who get it done the fastest. That's pretty much when your client needs it done, because they're always going to need it done last minute.
yeah, they needed it yesterday kind of thing. Interesting. And you're like, man, if you told me yesterday, I could have been there yesterday, but now you're telling me today and it needs to be done yesterday. Okay.
You have to learn how to adapt to the situation because everybody needs it done now.
Mm,
Needs it done cheaper.
right. Yeah, that's
Because they're always
interesting. All right.
all the GCs are always working for somebody else. I'm typically maybe like we started now, like with the bigger jobs, we're starting to work directly for the owners. But before
Okay.
that, we were working for the GC all the time, and he's always under pressure. So then he puts us under pressure, and they're always choosing us because we have all our own equipment, all our own trucks, everything in house,
Mm,
start to finish.
Okay. Now, you guys are working directly with the owners in certain cases at this point. I assume that's got to help your numbers quite a bit.
Mhm.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. So for the audience listening and stuff like that, you would say it's definitely worthwhile to continue to work up to, in certain cases, not having a middleman, a GC of sorts, but eventually being able to be directly working with the end consumer, so to speak.
Yeah,
It's much better, perhaps.
it's always better to work for the, but you have to have the office to back it up because they expect a lot from you. So
Mm.
if you start working directly for them, they're going to ask you to do everything: permits, rat inspections, everything.
Okay, interesting. So you mentioned that you guys do remediation. How much of a difference in the business is that compared to just your day in, day out demolition? Because that's a whole nother scope of work, in certain cases,
Yeah, you have to keep all
expertise.
your certificates up to date, all your medicals up to date, because when you put on the SCBAs, you have to keep that up to date with the government so they know that you can actually use the equipment that you're using. And then you have to submit plans before you do your asbestos. So how you're going to do the work, they require that when you do the jobs. And yeah, where you're going to dispose of material, you got to manifest everything out. You have to get
Mm,
on everything. It's a lot of paperwork when you get into asbestos.
yeah, I believe it. But it's nice because you guys can cover the bases. I mean, a lot of companies, they don't have all of it in house, so they're waiting
Yeah.
on testing, they're waiting on abatement, and it's
Well,
just like a
the job,
whole.
the job we're on right now and up in Baltimore, we beat out 15 other companies because we were the only one of the four, I think they told me, that had the asbestos in house. So people were
Nice.
coming in $800,000 more than my number because
Okay,
they had to sub out the AV anytime you're subbing.
man.
So
Yeah, less control, more money in your estimate, that kind of thing.
in the last year,
Interesting.
I had four companies want to combine with mine, asking to
Oh,
combine with
wow.
my company. So we're
Okay.
actually going to do it now. We're talking to some. It's not finalized yet, but we're in the talks of working with one of these companies to expand
Okay.
our venture, just go further out from, because right now typically we're only covering from New Jersey to Florida, and we're going to start
Okay.
venturing west because that's
Interesting.
typically all the industrial work is.
Manifest destiny,
Yeah.
like the pioneers. Okay. Interesting. Now, does that mean, I know it's not formalized, but does that mean you're going to be separate entities that just, partner on things, or are you guys going to be incorporating as one
No, I think
or buyout?
we'll always be separate entities, incorporating as
Okay.
one. But
Okay.
my angle is we could diversify more. We can do
Mm,
taller work because all my machines are only 3 feet. I mean, 3 stories high.
okay.
So this company that I'm speaking with is going to be bringing in high reaches and that type of expertise. So we'll be able to
Okay.
venture into the 10-story, 15-story buildings.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's awesome. We do have some clients, and we've had some guests too who come on talking about arenas. Like, talked to a guy recently. He's out in Texas, Austin area, and he's talking to me about tearing down arenas and like big, big, big jobs. And I'm like, you guys have to have some serious
Yeah.
insurance, equipment, team
Yep.
members with a lot of years. It's incredible.
You just gotta have
Okay.
knowledge. You have to have somebody as an owner, like my father-in-law. He owns the company, and I'm his pretty much right hand man. So you have to have that right hand man. You have to have that somebody that can go out and you could trust on the job. Because without that, you're lost.
Mm,
That's what I needed when I had my concrete company. I always needed,
right.
like I tell them all the time, I always needed somebody like me to make my concrete company as big as the demolition company is. So you
Interesting.
need that guy that you can trust day in and day out, and he'll be there hell or high water. You need that one
Okay.
guy in the field.
Now, can you tell me on that? We've had guests on here who end up partnering with their owner and they become kind of co-owners, things like that. What is the upside? It sounds like there's a lot. What is the upside and what are the challenges of incorporating? It could be separate entities becoming one. It could be someone joining the ownership who's on the team. What are the pros and cons of that?
Well, so separate entities becoming one is you'll get bigger jobs, but you're not gonna make as much as you would if you went in on the job yourself. I guess I assume. So
Yeah,
that we're not
sure.
gonna. That's why we're not gonna combine entities. Once we start working with these companies, we're always gonna break out the job of what we're gonna expect them to do on the job, what we're gonna do on the job, what they're gonna get paid on the job, and what we're gonna get paid on the job. So it's gonna be like we're gonna be subcontracting pretty much, but solely to this company, and this company is always gonna be with us on every job that we do. So that's a better, I want to say, way to format it, I guess.
Okay, got it.
It's safer
Makes
on both
sense.
ends as well, because then
Okay.
he has his insurance, I have my insurance. Anything he does breaks will go under his. Anything I break will go under mine. Less liability.
Right. Smart. Super smart.
And
Okay.
if
Now
he's
what
gonna be
about
handling the higher work, why would I put my insurance for higher work when I don't really do the higher work? He's gonna do it for me, and he already has the insurance to do that. So there'd be nothing different out of his end, but getting more work because now he'll be joining my territory.
okay, that's fair. How about the approach of, obviously you came into the business, so we do have guests and clients of ours who have, they're 65, they're 70, that kind of thing. And there's a scrappy team member who's been with them for 15 years, 20 years. How could someone who's a team member, this may not be relevant to your business, but how could a team member give value or be of value to maybe come in as a partner or a junior on the team to the extent that they could win in some of the profits with the ownership, take some of the headache off the owner as well?
Go above and beyond.
Yeah. Okay. Consistently. Sure.
Consistently do what you're not supposed to do every day in, every day out, and then you'll get recognized eventually.
Yeah.
That's how I do
Okay.
it.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. I had a little interesting story with a guest recently, and he had done it. And the owner, he ended up getting a new wife. The kids came into the business. Now the kids are superseding my guy who'd been with him from very early on. And
Yeah.
he ended up just saying, "Oh man, I got to go do my own thing. I got to get out of here."
Yeah,
Kind
it
of, kind of
happens.
was an interesting story.
You gotta know your worth. The time comes, time
Mm,
goes. But then if you do leave, you take everything that you brought with you, and then
mm.
whoever you're gonna leave will feel it in the end.
Yeah, true. That's fair. What are some of the vendors that are really close to you guys? Like who are you guys talking to the most? The bankers, the lawyers, the insurance, the equipment? Who are some of those
The equipment, the
important
mechanics,
vendors out there?
the
Yeah. Okay.
mechanics. Whenever you buy equipment, make sure you find somebody that can maintain whatever you buy, because they need to back whatever they sell you. 'Cause it's gonna break. We're in
Mm,
demolition. We're not here just digging holes. We're breaking down buildings.
right.
And
That's
that's another
fair.
challenge
Okay.
when hiring. Oh, that's what I want to tell you. When hiring people, a lot of people will come in. So you put an application for operator position. Everybody knows how to operate. Everybody comes in. I know how to operate. I know how to operate. Yeah, you know how to dig a hole. You don't know how to take down a building. So
Mm,
we throw plans at them. We tell them how you have to know how to read plans to be my operator. So you'll
right.
understand when if your foreman's not on the job or something. You actually understand what actually needs to demo, because sometimes we do partial demolition, so like separations,
Mm,
building separations. Like, okay, that was a fun job I did too. So we took a church. We do a lot of church work. We're in
hmm.
like the Bible Belt, Virginia, so
Very charitable guy over here.
a lot of church work. So we had to separate the building. So half the building was coming out and half the building was staying up, and it was occupied. So you go in first, you have to separate the whole building. You give a good 3-foot gap, and then you demo the whole building. But you have to make sure you don't hit any of the wrong beams or any of the wrong wires, because that building next door is still occupied. So
Mm,
separations is specialty work. We do a lot of specialty work. That's where the money's at.
right.
Specialty.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It's like being the general practitioner doctor versus being the brain surgeon. Being a specialist in a lot of things, and what you're confirming is even in demolition,
Yep.
that's where the true money is. Everyone thinks be a generalist, you can do all these jobs. It's like, yeah, you could also break your legs.
No,
If you're a specialist, you can really deep dive.
I've always said stick with what you know. Even when I did my masonry, all we did was flat work. I mean,
Okay.
we had people. You have people that do brick. You have people that do blocks. You have people that do everything in masonry. But if there's that one guy that sticks to just flat work, you're going to make a lot more money than everybody that does everything, because you're searching for
Right.
every job under the sun. And if you're just that guy that does the flat work, they're always going to call you when they need a sidewalk. And I was doing 3 sidewalks a week, $10,000 a pop. So that was good.
Wow. Do you miss that business at all, or is that still going on? Just you're not leading it.
No, that's not going on anymore. But if I miss it,
Okay.
yes and no. It's nice to help out family, I guess.
That's fair. Yeah, and they're helping out you, and everyone wins. Well, cool, man. We've gone quite a bit here. So, audience, thank you for rocking with us. Do you have any little takeaways before we wrap up? Any stuff that you want to tell the audience, or let them know why the Demolition Don's the Demolition Don? Give any last bits to the audience here.
The Demolition Don site is basically to highlight all our spectacular moments of demolition. So it's more for enthusiasts. So if you have any followers out there that are demolition enthusiasts, follow the Demolition Don page, and you get your fix on some heart pounding demo jobs, all the big stuff coming down. But yeah, put 100% on what you do and just keep at it every day, and one day you'll rise.
Cool. Love it. All right. Well, that's a clean way to end it. All right. Well, Joseph, it's been fun, man. Thank you. Demolition Don episode signing off. Audience, thank you guys so much for listening. And we'll talk to you soon. Joseph, we're going to hang out here on the line. And everyone else, have a great day.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of Demolition Success Secrets. Stay tuned and subscribe for more explosive insights from our upcoming episodes. Until then, continue to blow up your demolition business and make the competition rubble in your path.